Hey,
we got some NFL topics. We got all of that stuff
I
coming
can't
up.
see you.
Huh?
I can't see you. I need to
Stephen
see
A.,
you.
let the people see the beautiful look. I love it. Hey, Stephen A., you know, there was never a doubt, buddy. I knew you were honorable. You were a man of character. You're a man of integrity. And now you're rocking it. And it looks beautiful. beautiful. It's perfect,
This is a
man.
very embarrassing day for me.
I know the fashion game. You care
Florida
so much
Gators
about it, too.
tie. I have to wear this because I lost a bet to that man. I'm sick to my... Go! First Take's up next. Let's go.
When Stephen A. loses, we all win. I wore orange for you. Love you, Stephen A. Plenty more to get to, including breaking down all things Bucs and Rams, Stafford versus Brady. Let's go. Plus, we hear from Brady. Was he cool with his father and trainer spilling all the tea on Belichick? And we hit on another NFC showdown, Rodgers versus the Niners. And ESPN's NBA rank is out. KD came out #1. Kendrick Perkins says that is wrong. All right, guys, let's talk some football. Stephen A., Tim T.
You know, it's played about as good as any defense in the league. You know, last year and a half, playing really good ball. You know, it's two teams that are playing good football right now, going against each other, and I'm excited about it. It's a big challenge for us. You know,
Matthew Stafford has a better QBR and higher completion percentage. Brady is pacing the entire NFL with 9 touchdown passes through his first 2 games. Tim Tebow, any chance for a Bucs letdown?
Zero chance. Now, could they lose to the Rams? Of course, because Aaron Donald, Matt Stafford, the entire team. But a letdown? No. I mean, we're talking about Tom Brady, Bruce Arians, this veteran team, everybody coming back. There's zero chance of a letdown, right? You're playing a really good team, so you got to execute. But listen, Tom Brady's not looking ahead to the Patriots. Tom Brady is focused on every single game. He's the best to have ever done it at taking it one game at a time. And he's going to be focused. Their team's going to be focused. And I think there's zero chance of a letdown.
Well, first of all, I want to just get this out of the way first while I got the wonderful Tim Tebow here. I got to bow down to the Florida Gators. I was stunned. I was laughing when they were down 21-3. I said, all I need is one more score. I told them they were going to lose by 3 touchdowns. I did not see it coming. They outplayed Alabama for the final 3 quarters. Gator Nation showed up those last 3 quarters. I got to give props where it's due. I can't just slide by and be a punk about it and act like I'm going to wiggle my way out of this. I thought the romp was coming to the swamp. And damn it, they almost beat Alabama. I was nervous as hell. I ain't going to lie. I was nervous. I was like, what is happening here? So bow down to the Florida Gators. I know they lost, but major props from me. I got to give it to them.
And
okay?
now Friday's tie day.
So now I want to get, and Friday is this ridiculous tie that I'm wearing, but it's neither here nor there. I lost the bet. I got to man up.
It's beautiful.
Oh, there you go. Ooh,
Hey, there's no doubt.
He doesn't
By the
even
way,
wear the Gator
Coach
ties.
Mullen shot me a text yesterday. Hey, by the way, Coach Mullen shot me a text yesterday, and he said, you can tell Stephen A. he doesn't have to wear a Gator tie, right? The standard at Gator Nation is to win. And so they don't need to lower the standard. And so I was like, yeah, I might text him, but you know what? I really just want to see the tie. So it's
That's
okay.
right.
You know,
never
he
sent me
let
that
you
text.
off of it, but I think you look great in it.
You never sent me that
I
text and
almost
never
did.
forwarded that text to me.
I
You see
forgot.
how he is? Oh, my Lord. Okay. Let me move.
forgot.
Ooh. He
Do
did
you see how I coordinated with you?
There is no coordination.
Yes, it is. Orange.
No.
The orange and the tie and the orange dress
It's not
for the
coordination.
Florida Gators.
No, it's not
Whatever.
coordination, okay?
I tried to be a good teammate.
Now let me get
And
to the
help
Tampa
you while
Bay
you're in a low
Buccaneers.
place.
There is a chance for a letdown. There is a chance for a letdown. I respectfully disagree with Tim Tebow, but not from Tom Brady. I think it's a chance for a letdown from the rest of the team. I think the rest of the team, although they're veterans, no question about it, especially with the absence of Antonio Brown, could you be looking ahead to next week in the New England Patriots and Tom Brady returning to Foxborough? It's entirely possible, not just because of them. The media's going in there. They're talking to these guys. They're constantly asking the questions about a week from now, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody recognizes that the Rams are a formidable team and they're a Super Bowl contender. But it's still just another game on Tom Brady's schedule. Next week is not just another game. And because it's not just another game, and those guys are going to repeatedly be reminded. Remember, Gronkowski returns to New England as well. Let's not forget that, but he's not the one that has to throw the football, and he's not the one that essentially had a falling out in a roundabout way with Coach Bill Belichick. So I do believe, Tebow, there is a chance for a letdown. Not by Tom Brady, but by the other dude. I do.
But Stephen A., it's not just another game. They're looking at a Rams team that genuinely has a chance to make it to the Super Bowl. You look at from top to bottom, they have an incredibly deep roster. They have playmakers, they have stars, and now they have a quarterback that is one of the most talented in the game. Listen, I don't think Brady would let his team look past him. I don't think Bruce Arians would. And when you look at the veterans on this team, they know that, yes, obviously they have the Patriots in front of them, but they're focused on now. And this is a bigger, harder threat than the Patriots will be next week. So I don't see any chance. Could they lose? Of course, if they get out-executed. I don't think they're looking past this team. They're too good. You have too much respect for Aaron Donald, Matt Stafford.
Now, this is a team that ranks 30th against the pass. So Matthew Stafford is anticipating having a very big day, and Tom Brady had better do the same in order to elevate their chances to beat the Los Angeles Rams. So we got to pay attention to that.
And let me take that a step further. They're also going to be without their lead running back. Don't forget they don't have Darrell Henderson either, so they're certainly going to be airing it out. And on the other side, we know Antonio Brown can't go.
Yeah.
All right, so let's pick it. Tim, who are you going with?
I'm going with the Bucs. I think that they're playing extremely hot right now. Tom Brady is on fire. I think their defense can get to the quarterback. I do think that they'll give up some deep play actions because the Rams are so good at it. But I think their defensive line sets the tone of this game just to get to Matt Stafford just enough to disrupt him. I think Bucs win in a close one.
I think so as well. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. It's going to be tight, but I agree with Tebow. I think the Buccaneers win this football game. I think that right now, if you look at them, although they're suspect against the pass and it's problematic, I think the way they're flowing offensively is going to be enough to overcome whatever defensive prowess the Rams will bring in their direction. I'm going to pick the Bucs. I'm going to pick the Bucs to win this game.
So both of you going with the Bucs. Tim, Stephen A., I'm just curious, have either of you ever dealt with attention from the media or criticism, anything like that?
Yeah, we deal with it all the time. Now, Tim is much nicer about dealing with it than me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So you guys have had people talk about you before, right? You've dealt with that?
Yeah, we do.
All right. So you're perfect for this. If you were ever curious of what really led the most famous and decorated Patriot of all time to take his talents elsewhere, hearing from his inner circle may enlighten you. Tom Brady Sr. spilling all the tea.
Do you find a measure of vindication for your kid?
Damn right. Damn right. Belichick wanted him out the door, and last year he threw 56 touchdowns. I think that's a pretty good year.
Do you think that Tom feels the same way?
Damn right.
I think I need that on a loop to get me ready for the show. All right, another man who knows Tom Brady very well, his dear friend Alex Guerrero. Keep in mind, this is the godfather of his son, his spiritual coach, business partner, trainer, nutrition coach. Guerrero had this to say about Tom's relationship with Belichick. The interesting thing, I think, there, and this is just me, an outsider looking in, it was like Bill never really, I think his emotions or feelings never evolved with age. I think in time with Tom, as Tom got into his late 30s or early 40s, I think Bill was still trying to treat him like that 20-year-old kid he had drafted. And all the players, I think, realized Tom was different. He's older, so he should be treated differently. And all the players, none of them would have cared that he was treated differently. I think that was such a Bill thing. He never evolved, so you can't treat someone who's in his 40s like they're 20. It doesn't work. Those words, all courtesy of the Boston Herald. Here's what Tom had to say about all this.
Yeah, I have, great respect and admiration for my time there. I've had great 20 great years there. I kind of spoke that the last 18 months. It's a great time in my life. But really happy to be here, and I think we've done some great things in a short period of time. Really love the teammates that I have that I'm playing with here. Love the coaches. The organization's been amazing. Again, it's just a lot of gratitude for me.
Okay. Tim, first I want to start with this. Your reaction to what Tom Brady Sr. and Alex Guerrero had to say, and then we'll get into Tom's response.
Well, I think, whether it's true or it's not, it's very emotional, and they care deeply about it. Whatever has happened, whatever's transpired with the relationships that Tom had in New England, and, whether that's just with Belichick, whether it's with more people, obviously they care. And so when you see family members and loved ones, be able to, I guess have someone's back, that doesn't bother me. I like hearing that. I like hearing how real and authentic it is. But then I also think when you look at what Tom Brady said, he just takes the high road like he always has. And I think that's a great move for him, because what is it, even if it is true, what does it matter if Tom goes out and he says derogatory things? I think Tom has always taken the high road. It's super respectable. It's super honorable. And, he said great things about New England. He's also really focused in the present now at Tampa Bay and what they've accomplished. And I think it's also, a little bit of, if it is true, he's killing them with kindness. And I think that's a great thing.
I don't disagree with you, but I also don't think Tom Brady, if he were to come out and to say, listen, we had our time together at the end, though, I thought I had more left than he thought I had. And we disagree on that. I don't think that's being disrespectful to Bill Belichick. I think that's showing a level of faith in yourself and saying, excuse me, you know what? I wasn't finished. I didn't deserve, without having to go into those details, it's essentially saying I didn't deserve you bringing Jimmy Garoppolo in 4 or 5 years ago and thinking that I was on my way out the door. I still had a lot left. I told you I had a lot left, and I deserved the right to leave on my own terms. Now, in fairness to Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, let's harken back, Tim, to what I reported when it first happened. When Tom Brady decided to depart from New England and end up going to Tampa Bay, I was told that if Tom Brady wanted to stay, they would have worked it out. The problem is that in order for him to want to stay, he needed to hear from Bill Belichick that Bill Belichick wanted him to stay. And that's not what Bill Belichick was going to do. And that's why Tom Brady ended up departing. If you win 6 Super Bowl championships and go to 9 Super Bowls in 18 years, and you believe you still have a lot left, and that really what the issue is that you're bereft of talent surrounding you. And this coach is saying, well, it's actually you. You're the one that needs to go so I can do what I want to do here. That hurts because you feel in your heart of hearts that you deserve better. And that's not just about football, Tim. That's about life. When you know that you have credentials and you've delivered and you've produced, and somebody comes to you and they say they think you're finished long before you know that you are, that stings. And I think that it's important to recognize the fact that transcends sports. That's anywhere in life when you're a high-end producer and you don't feel you're being appreciated as much as you should be appreciated. And I think that's why something like this really resonates. That's why you saw his father answer it the way that he did. That's why you saw the trainer say what he said. They didn't sit up there and say Bill Belichick was a bad person. Bill Belichick was a bad guy. He wasn't a good coach or anything like that. They said, one said he didn't evolve. And the father said, you damn right, this is, validation.
So there were factual events of what transpired. And Tim, before you jump in here, Stephen A., you said, I think Tom Brady could come out and say that. He didn't need to say that because his people just did that for him.
I'm just saying, had he, it wouldn't be disrespectful.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Tim?
Yeah. Molly, I totally agree with what you just said. And obviously you can assume that, that the Brady's family has been felt disrespected, whether it's true or it's not. That's the way that they feel, and that's something that you could tell his dad is holding on to, and Alex maybe a little bit, and so they were passionate about what they said. But I like what Brady said because it's, in my opinion, the best thing for his team now. Maybe it could have been personal for him to share something about New England, but how does that help his team? Right now, he keeps the focus on his team, on his players, on in the present, in the now. Listen, he's going to have a lot of times and a lot of years to write books and memoirs and do a last dance of his own one day and have all that come out, and there can be a time and a place for that. But right now, it's about the next one. It's about beating the Rams, beating the Patriots, winning another Super Bowl. And I think this move was the best move for his team now, so he can walk in that locker room and say, you know what? Everybody wants to make it about me and all this other stuff. I'm making it about you guys. I'm making it about this team because I believe in you, and we can do what we did last year again. And guess what? People are going to be talking about this team, not just me. And I think that rallies a team together like you saw. Even when you hear Bruce Arians, he's like, yeah, one guy changed the culture, Tom Brady. Why? Because he is about that. He's not about just me or what I've accomplished in the past. He's about this team, and he makes everybody better. And I think that is another example of why you look at a guy that's a great player but also a great leader.
For me personally, the one thing that I want to say in regards to Bill Belichick, specifically as it pertains to Alex Guerrero's quotes, is this. We got to, some people have to learn that it's all right that everyone isn't the same. When you've earned what Tom Brady has earned, it's all right to treat him differently. Especially when he's such a team player and he's such a leader and he's such an assist in you accomplishing what you're ultimately aiming to accomplish. And what you heard from Guerrero was a guy in Bill Belichick that is going to be the way that he is. No matter what, he ain't changing, he ain't modifying, he's not altering in any way. And sometimes that's not the greatest thing. Doesn't make him a bad person at all. It's just that sometimes that level of stubbornness, you got to compromise to some degree, and you got to deduce who's worth the compromise. And too many people don't do that, and that's what gets them into trouble.
And maybe he truly felt his best days were behind him. And, Tim, you talk about writing the book for Tom Brady. I want to see the Bill Belichick book and see how he feels now. And obviously the full story isn't written. We'll see how this season plays out with his new quarterback. But that would be very interesting as well to get Bill's response. But we know he's going to keep everything close to the vest. Let me ask you this, though, Tim. Do you think Brady is the best quarterback so far this season on the field?
I don't think you could look at the way he's played and any other quarterback and say they're better. I think there's been some incredible performances at times by other guys, but I think he's the top of the top. And if you say, hey, who do you trust in the fourth quarter, down by 6 with one drive, I have to still go with Tom Brady, because I think not only is he playing at an elite level, but he plays his best when his best is needed, when the games are getting close, when it's a 2-minute drill, when they have to come from behind. We saw it week 1 against Dallas. He still has that it factor that a lot of other people are just hoping for. But he's not hoping for it. He goes out there and delivers it time and time again. And when the game got close Sunday against the Falcons, he delivered over and over. And also, so did his defense, because this is a team that believes in one another. And so even if the offense might not have had the best performance, their defense shows up and they play an incredible complementary football.
I appreciate what you're saying about Tom Brady, and he is the greatest of all time because his resume says so. And I get all of that. But I'm certainly not going to look at him and say, he's better than Patrick Mahomes. I'm not doing that. I saw Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumble the football. Outside of that, when Patrick Mahomes has the ball with the game on the line, who doubts what he's going to do? Nobody, because we continuously see him do it. Time and time and time again. He's just that special. Again, he doesn't have the resume, and he's fresh off a Super Bowl loss to Tom Brady. But right now, even with Tom Brady looking great, having 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, completing 65% of his passes along the way, I will remind you that Patrick Mahomes has 1 interception and 6 touchdowns and is completing 76% of his passes. And oh, by the way, the Kansas City Chiefs are the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's because of him. So I just couldn't dismiss that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, Stephen A. Listen, I'm not foolish enough to, try to, come on this show and knock Patrick Mahomes. He's unbelievable. Like, obviously, he's one of the best in the game. He's super talented. I think he's got one of the best arms, and he's an underrated athlete. He's a really good athlete, and he's fantastic moving, in the pocket. And I think he's has a chance to be one of the best of all time. But I think still right now, if you said, hey, 1 drive, game on the line, I have to pick between the two, I think I'm still going Tommy B.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you do that.
Stern has a lot of experience in those moments.
I'm going with Patrick Mahomes.
All right, real quick before we go to break. Right. Tim, did you know that Stephen A. has a job interview after the show? I didn't know that. Florida's
oh, really?
Athletic.
Is he trying to get hired by Florida?
Yeah, I think the AD position. Is that where you go?
I think you would be. I think it would be great.
It looks like an
definitely looking the part. It looks great, man. Do you feel like Stephen A. you could say like, hey, it's great to be a Florida Gator today, or?
No, I can't say that. All right, you know what? For y'all, I will do it. You know what? Gator Nation.
Oh, Oh, God, the
It's
Tom.
great to be a Florida Gator today. I give it to
Let's
y'all.
go.
I got to give it to y'all. It's sickening.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I don't know what the hell happened to Alabama the last 3 quarters. I have no idea. But and Alabama, Nick Saban and y'all have me wearing this tie. Now, Nick Saban don't give a damn. He probably sitting there saying, you shouldn't have bet on us like that. Shouldn't have bet on us. It was foolish for you to sit up there and say we were going to win by 3 touchdowns at least. You know, so he's blaming me.
Listen.
But it is what it is. I believed in Alabama, and it didn't happen.
When you go to your interview in G Vegas, just drop Tim's name. Might help you out.
I'm not going to G
next
Vegas
up
without Tim
for
Tebow.
Shank,
He's coming with me.
What an NFC championship this season. The only teams with shorter odds in San Francisco are Tampa and Kansas City. Super Bowl champ Rob Ninkovich joining the show. Rob, good to see you, sir. I like the money green suit.
Good to see you, man.
It is good today. I was feeling good today, so I put it on.
Yeah.
You like Stephen A's outfit too, right?
I do. He looks great.
Yeah.
I like that tie.
Yeah, just checking. Hey, Tim, I'll start with you here. Was Rodgers' demise overhyped?
First of all, I just want to add to the suit that Rob's wearing. I love it because I also think it brings that Gator feel to it even more. So I feel like Stephen A's just getting more comfortable. You in the orange, he's in the green. You know,
All
I'm rocking the
working.
blue. It's just, I mean, Gator Nation is just surrounding him. Rob, thanks for joining. We're very grateful for that.
I'm gonna
Yes,
get
when
y'all
we're
for
getting
this.
to Aaron Rodgers, it is totally overhyped. I mean, it's one game. It's 1 out of 17. Listen, guys have bad games. Teams have bad games. You look at Brady a few years ago when they lost to the Chiefs and everybody was like, oh my gosh, this team is done. What'd they do? They came back and they've been fantastic, you know, for several years after then. Brady still goes on to win another Super Bowl in Tampa. So I think this is, listen, the media so many times wants something to talk about, wants something that's going to go viral, wants something with hype, and a lot of times they create that. Listen, it was a bad game, but it's 1 out of 17. He showed the other night he's still unbelievable. He's going to be unbelievable the rest of this year. It was one bad game. They're going to be totally fine.
Tim, I agree with you. Are we really talking demise of Aaron Rodgers?
Okay, maybe it was a poor word.
Aaron Rodgers, demise. Come on now. Now, first of all, I know this is we all look at the quarterback. It's a quarterback-driven league, right? So when we're talking about quarterbacks and Aaron Rodgers, we expect greatness every time that he's playing on Sunday. Now, they played the Saints week 1, okay? Jameis Winston, what did he throw? 5 touchdowns in that game?
Yeah.
Yes.
What did he do the next week?
Yeah.
So it's it's a team sport too now. So the Green Bay Packers have some issues on defense that they have to address. Mm-hmm. They have to be better on defense. Mm-hmm. So Aaron Rodgers having the offseason and all the drama that was going on with the offseason, that first game that we all saw, that's why everyone jumped on that whole, this is happening, it's over for Aaron Rodgers. No. Granted, they just won against the Lions, and I don't think the Lions are going to be in the playoffs, and they're not going to make any noise this year. So it really didn't show me anything, like this team, where they at, because if they would have lost to the Lions, we would all been going crazy. Mm-hmm. The demise is real. Mm-hmm. So we'll find out in this week against the 49ers if they can travel, mm-hmm. if they can win a game on the road, mm-hmm. if Aaron Rodgers looks like he did against the Lions, mm-hmm. against the 49ers. We'll find out. Mm-hmm. But it's too early to say that the demise is happening to Aaron Rodgers.
First of all, put Tim Tebow up on this screen, y'all, because I want Tim Tebow and Rob Ninkovich all on the screen together, because I'm going to get on both of y'all, okay? I mean, y'all are ridiculous. First of all, let me get to you first, Rob.
Okay.
Even if Green Bay loses this week, we got questions about the Packers. We ain't going to have questions about Aaron Rodgers. Stop that, okay? That's number one.
True.
Now let me get to Tim Tebow. Mr. Sensitivity here. What are you talking about the media? What happened? Who talked about the demise of Aaron Rodgers? The reigning league MVP, 37 years of age, fresh off of throwing 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He has one bad game. What did we say? It was a bad game. We've never seen Aaron Rodgers that bad. What was the question about him? He's so disgusted with the Green Bay Packers situation and everything that transpired this offseason. Can they make this work? Because the relationship is up in the air. No one questioned the greatness of Aaron Rodgers at all. Nobody was thinking about questioning the greatness of Aaron Rodgers at all. So what about the media? What did the media do wrong? What did the media do, Tim? What did he do?
They hyped it up like all of a sudden he just fell off a cliff when it's just one game. And by the way, the question we're asking right now is hyping it up. Was Aaron Rodgers' demise overhyped? That's still hyping it up.
Well,
That's
let me
what,
ask you this
that's
question.
a lot
Tim
of
Tebow.
times that's what a lot of.
Hold it, Tim Tebow. Let me ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
When we sat up there and said that Aaron Rodgers, it was the most atrocious game he has ever played in his career. He's never looked that bad. What we were saying was, wow, he's never looked that bad. He doesn't jump up in the air and throw passes. He doesn't throw the ball 3 feet behind the receiver. We don't see that from Aaron Rodgers. So in his first game, after all of this friction with his organization, we saw it. And because we point that out and we noticed it, we were sitting up there and saying, oh, it's over for Aaron. Nobody in the media said that about him. And Aaron Rodgers to stop acting like people said that about him because they did it. What they said was, look, things ain't great with you and the Green Bay Packers. You could be somebody. Everybody ain't as kind and sweet and as lovable as Tim Tebow. Everybody ain't as stoic with Super Bowl rings all over the place like Rob Ninkovich. Some dudes, okay, some dudes might be so disgusted with a situation. Yeah, I want to play, but I can't stand looking at these people. That is possible, which is all anybody questioned.
Yeah, but the problem is when you take one game and then you say, hey, that one game is going to represent how we're going to view someone. It's the first game of the year. It's 1 out of 17. Listen, the best players in the world have had bad games. I get it. It was one of A-Rod's worst games, but that happens. Guess what? He bounced back, and I think he's going to continue to bounce back. And also, he'll find a way to get his team right. And I know there's been some turmoil there this offseason. But when you look at it, you can't just say, okay, that's one game, and then even ask the question, is he done? It's like when the people did that years ago about Tom Brady. Oh, they're one game, bad game against the Chiefs, and they're done. It's just not true. It's one bad game, right? That happens. Listen, we're not a Madden rating that every single game you're a 90 or you're an 89 or whatever rating, and that's how you show up every game. No, it's personal. It's relationships. It's game plans. It's, they might have had a bad game plan where, that's on the coaches too. It might have been, there's so many things that go into how a team performs, right? That's also when we praise Tom Brady and the Patriots for the way they did it, is because they were able to perform at such a high level over and over and over again. It is really
points in large numbers. And so now, Matthew Stafford, can you be that difference? Can you push the football down the field? Can you make those huge plays? Can you beat the GOAT? And this will be his first opportunity to do so.
Well, why don't you stop it? I mean, that's ridiculous. Just like you just said, it's week 3, man. It's week 3, Ryan. You're just being ridiculous. So all of a sudden, the Rams, who, by the way, are 2-0, anticipated to be a Super Bowl contender, definitely, obviously, making the playoffs, will likely meet Tampa Bay or Green Bay or somebody in the postseason, okay? Week 3 of the NFL season in Matthew Stafford's 12th year, all right, his 3rd game with his new team. He has to win. Stop. Don't get me wrong. He can't stink up the joint. Now, I ain't going to say that. I'm not going to say that it wouldn't be a very bad thing if he shows up against Tom Brady and then he shows up and play and looks like Aaron Rodgers looked in week 1 against, against New Orleans. I'm not saying that. But what if Matthew Stafford, who's already thrown for 599 yards, what if he has a 300-yard game, throws about 3 touchdowns, QBR's up there, it's a competitive game, and Tampa Bay walks away, let's say with a 34-31 win or whatever. Oh, my God, stop the presses. Matthew Stafford's going to look bad? Stop, Ryan. That's not true. That's not true.
This is so crazy to me, Stephen A. We coming off a week where all of y'all were on TV. Lamar Jackson has to play so well. This team has to win. They never beat Kansas City. Lamar Jackson has done much more than Matthew Stafford. Lamar Jackson has proved much more than Matthew Stafford, but he's already playing in must-win games in week 2. But now, Matthew Stafford, who in his life has never won anything. Yes, he's shown us that he's a #1 overall talent. He's shown us that he had an amazing arm, but he's not a winner. Matthew Stafford isn't a guy that has led teams to great seasons, been an MVP, and now he gets his chance in his new place where you got rid of your first overall pick, Jared Goff, a guy that's already brought you to a Super Bowl, and you're telling me in his first huge game against Tom Brady, he doesn't have to go out and win? A guy that has never proved in his NFL career that he could be a winner doesn't have to go out and win? Give me a break, Stephen A. And don't act like you're the dude that sits there and lives life with logic and rationale. Because if that was the case, you wouldn't be around here being Brick and hosting Jimmy Kimmel. You would just sit on First Take and sit on Stephen A's World with all the 11 million shows you have and just chill. But you know you need to do more, just like Matthew Stafford needs to do more. Matthew Stafford has to win this game, not the Rams. Y'all didn't ask me if the Rams had to win this game because the team's going to be okay.
Did he get you? I feel like he kind of just got you.
No, he didn't. He dropped his mic.
Dang it.
He didn't get his mic.
No, he literally dropped the mic.
Please, the little bro don't get the big bro. The big bro is the one that gets the little bro. That's how this works. Now, let me be very, very clear, Ryan, since you wanted to quote me.
Stephen A., you see
Did I not just finish listening to you? I thought I just finished listening to you. That's what I just did. It's my turn. Ryan Clark, if I remember correctly, I specifically said, when you're looking at Lamar Jackson, it's not about that. It's about the fact that you can't throw for 97 yards. What I said is, if you're going to go up against Patrick Mahomes, you got to show you can fling that football, you could be that playmaker extraordinaire, and you can make things happen too. You can't fold like a cheap tent against Patrick Mahomes because that's likely the individual that's going to be standing in your way for years to come. We pointed out how young Lamar Jackson was. I said, excuse me, Patrick Mahomes ain't some senior citizen. The brother's 26 years old and in the same conference. Somewhere along the way, you have to beat him. You're 0-3 against him at the time going into that game. You have to beat him. You got to show out. You got to make sure that you ain't the reason y'all lose the game. That's what I said about Lamar Jackson. It's on tape. So you can try to misquote me, but it ain't going to work. Okay, it ain't gonna work because the quotes are there. All right. Now, getting back to Stafford, what I'm saying is he has to play well. I get that part, but it's not a must win. Okay, if he plays well, but somehow, some way his defense don't show up and Tom Brady gets the better of them, it's okay as long as he balls.
So what you're saying is it's okay for Matthew Stafford to continue the trajectory that his career has always been. We know Matthew Stafford is good, but they don't win. So that's okay to you now? You can allow Matthew Stafford when you when you bring him over to a team like the Los Angeles Rams?
I think this is a different standard. The Detroit Lions, they got to the playoffs 3 times in like 12 years. They haven't won a playoff game since 1991, I think, or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line is you've got that backdrop. In this particular situation, it's about going up against the GOAT. It ain't about just going up. It's not just a big game. It's going up against the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, led by a 44-year-old dude who's got 7 Super Bowl titles and is considered the greatest of all time. There's a difference. So
Stephen,
I don't think that the urgency to win this game is on him. It's an urgency for him to perform well.
Was the acquisition of Matthew Stafford not to take this team to a different level that they didn't believe Jared Goff could take them?
Yes,
was that not
correct.
Why they went out and got Matthew Stafford?
That is correct.
Well, this is his first opportunity to prove it. This is pressure on Sean McVay to say, you know what? Los Angeles Rams fan, Les Snead, this is the reason we needed Matthew Stafford, because when we play people like Tom Brady, I want to have a guy I can believe in. I want to have a guy who I think that is as good or better when he needs to be in big moments. This is Matthew Stafford's first big moments. If Matthew Stafford was a rookie, if Matthew Stafford was a 3rd-year guy, a 4th-year guy, a guy who is just coming into his own, then I say, you know what? Nah, it doesn't really matter. He just has to go out and play well. He just has to show that he can compete. No, Matthew Stafford has to make plays to win this game. I do not care if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the football last. If they got the football last, you better have enough points to where they cannot catch up. Matthew Stafford has to win this game. You know it. I know it. I know you're trying to be consistent, but you've been inconsistent in life before, and you need to be now so you can be right.
I don't know. Well, first of all, I'm usually right, so it's not it's no big deal. That's number one. Number two,
Stephen A's world.
Number two, whatever, in Stephen A's world and First Take. It don't matter.
Tie?
It don't matter. And listen, I don't even have to worry about it. Like I said, it's his first opportunity, but it won't be his last this season. And that's the key point to be made. And by the way, I don't have to make my point further. I'll just leave it to my man DC Daniel Cormier to make it for me when he's beating you up on y'all podcast together. I'll just let him handle it for me, because he's going to side with me. He's going to side with me. He's going to side with me. Okay? That's what it is.
Rolling with nothing but the Saints.
That's right.
I felt like RC got you. I mean, what
You always say that,
No,
Molly.
go with the
You always
Lamar
say that,
Jackson.
Molly.
It's true.
Molly,
the whole
Molly,
we're hard on Lamar Jackson. We didn't
Molly
do it to
hasn't
Matthew
agreed with
Stafford.
me. Molly hasn't agreed with me since I called her out about UConn. That's it. That's all it is. That's all it is. She stood up ready to fight because she went, I'm going to see UConn and Purdue. And I said, why? Why would you do that to yourself? And she hasn't recovered since. That's all it's about. That's all that's about. It's okay.
Let's go.
It's okay.
Shout to our whole crew, but shout to Matt Reed who put that together. That was really good. The nutritious part, like it's
Hilarious.
every time I see
Hilarious.
Dan, I think of that. And there was one time where you made a face and you wanted to walk off, and I just wanted to like fall out dying laughing. That was good.
Whatever they say. I've had a blast.
We had a lot of fun.
That's right.
We had a lot of fun this week. Sam Acho's still here with us, and Ryan Clark. Guys, Big Ben doing everything he can to play Sunday. Of course, after injuring his pectoral muscle in a bad lopsided loss to the Raiders, Justin Fields will get his highly anticipated first NFL start. You know this, Sam Acho, living in Chicago. After an injury knocked out Andy Dalton, how happy they must be down there in Chicago. Not the injury, about Fields, of course, getting the nod. Stephen A., I'm going to start with you. Who do you think is under more pressure? Do you think it's Ben or Justin Fields?
Believe it or not, I think it's Ben. Because Justin Fields is a rookie. And we hope a lot of things about it, but expectations, no. But Big Ben Roethlisberger, let's call it what it is. He's looked relatively anemic, to say the least. He's got, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, completing 62% of his passes. Looks like a statue out there. Seems completely immobile. And right now, the Steelers season, I'm not going to say it's on the line because it's week 3, and we're talking about Mike Tomlin coach team here that has never, ever finished under 500 in his coaching career. But when we consider the elevation of the Baltimore Ravens combined with the Cleveland Browns in the AFC, Cincinnati is nothing to sneeze at this particular moment in time. They lost last week, but Joe Burrow has skills. Jamar Chase has skills. They've got some weapons there. The bottom line is if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, particularly with T.J. Watt, and I don't know what the hell is – you and Ryan Sam, I mean, what can y'all tell me what the hell is going on with a football team that got 4 dudes with groin injuries? I mean, what the hell are they doing? What the hell are they doing? We got T.J. Watt, we got T.J. Watt, we got Alex Highsmith, okay? I mean, we got Joe Hayden, and I forgot who the 4th one is. All got groin injuries. What the hell's going on up there in Pittsburgh? All 4 of y'all? I mean, now they got a plethora of injuries. But all 4 different dudes with the same injury?
I distance myself from these comments. I just want America to know that.
I damn near want to distance myself from it. I damn near want to distance myself from it. I don't want to.
I mean, because like my mind doesn't go there, okay? So please don't take it there.
I just feel you. All I'm trying to say is that I look at you. Listen, you gave me the sheet yesterday, and I looked at the injuries, and I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4 different dudes with the same injury, and it's all groin injuries. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know what the hell's going on up there. All right,
everybody needs to rest.
I don't know what's going on there.
Everybody just needs to rest.
I got it, but all I'm saying is, at the end of the day, when you consider all of that, Big Ben Roethlisberger and your offensive line is so suspect. Big Ben Roethlisberger, your only hope is for him to do something, and that's pressure.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead, Ryan. I'm sorry.
I feel like you must have played for the Steelers because no matter when they come up, you just have to talk about them. And maybe you just enjoy talking about the Steelers, but you know good and dang well it's more pressure on Justin Fields. The headline of one of the local papers in Chicago was, Justin Fields gets his chance, ... and not much else. Because for all offseason, for all of the preseason, everyone has been calling for Justin Fields to play. The fans in the stands have even been chanting his name while Andy Dalton was on the field. And then he gets to play, and so nobody realizes that Allen Robinson drops a touchdown, a guy who never drops a football, who actually made Blake Bortles and Mitchell Trubisky look good at times, drops a touchdown. That's a 40-yard touchdown. Now he's 7 for 13. A ball hits off of him. Like, they don't realize those things because people are looking at Justin Fields and judging him by these things. They believe the Chicago Bears still have a championship defense. They do not. They believe that the Chicago Bears has a coach that, if he has the right player at the position, can actually coach. They do not. So Justin Fields is not only going to be judged for what he does, but for what the Chicago Bears look like and how they finish against the Cleveland Browns. Big Ben ain't under no pressure. He a Hall of Famer, baby. He ain't got nothing to trip about up there. And everybody know that me, you, Molly, and Sam Acho are blocking for him. He is safe. Justin Fields is not.
Well, Justin Fields may not be safe, and he does have more pressure, but the reason why is a lot different than what you're saying, Ryan. The reason Justin Fields has more pressure isn't just because the fans have been cheering for him. It's because the expectations are through the roof for him. Chicago has never had a franchise quarterback. Go down the list. Jay Cutler, you couldn't say he was that guy. Mitch Trubisky, you couldn't say he's that guy. Go down to whatever list you want to go to. Chicago hasn't had it, and now Chicago, everyone in Chicago believes that Justin Fields is that guy. Even me, I'm here in New York. I'll be walking down the street. People know me because I played with the Bears. They're saying, Sam, what's going to happen with Justin Fields? Sam, I hear you've been saying that he should sit, but come on, we need him, we need him, we need him. That's pressure. Big Ben is 39 years old. He's won his rings. He's done his thing. If he doesn't play well for the rest of this season, he could retire and maybe go in the Hall of Fame. Justin Fields hasn't proven anything yet. He has a lot to prove and a lot on his shoulders. That defense, contrary to your point, Ryan Clark, is a championship defense. We saw them show it last week with Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith essentially won the game for his team last week when Andy Dalton went down and Justin Fields essentially sputtered through the second half of that game. And so, yes, of course, Justin Fields absolutely has more pressure. It's because he's younger, number one. It's because, number two, the entire city and the nation is looking at this guy saying, you are our future, and no one is going to wait for him to be average. He has to be excellent. He has to be excellent, like, now.
I would chime in, but why are you covering your nose like that?
Because this boy talking about sputtered? He sputtered? Like, I just feel like, man, I feel like sometimes we get to these games and we listen to each other so much and we hear some people say some other things and we not really paying attention to what's going on. Right? Because we're talking about a zero blitz with a fallout where Kurt Warner, who I believe was an MVP, also is a Hall of Famer, throws a 100-yard interception to James Harrison on the same thing. That happens. That's a crosser. That's something you have to learn. I just told you about the 2 drops, but let's talk about the 3rd and 9 play where he essentially escapes a linebacker in the backfield, slides in bounds, using his head, showing that he's not going to go out of bounds to stop the clock to win the game. I think all the time we start to look at these different things that these young quarterbacks do and the pressure that they're under, and we don't truly watch the film and hone in on how the game finished. And that team is not a championship defense. If you watch the first week against the Los Angeles Rams, it was bombs over everywhere. And so, no, we can't watch a game against Cincinnati Bengals where they struggle and say that that's the case of this game. The pressure is on Justin Fields because even his own quarterback his own coach doesn't want to start him.
RC, I know that
I'm listening. My bad, Stephen A.
This is the third time you try to employ that strategy where you talk so much we don't get a chance to come back at you. I see what you're doing. It's not going to work, okay? Number two.
Stephen A., Monday you told me you was going to let me talk because I knew more.
I did let you
talk. So now you changing up because Sam Monson on the show?
I'm not changing up. I'm simply saying give me an opportunity to retort. That's all I'm saying. Now, Ryan Clark, it's interesting because just like you swear we must not be watching the game, guess what? You, as a member of the media, now I just want to point that out because you are a member of the media right now. Okay, just want to point that out. You evidently don't pay enough attention to the media because the Justin Fields ... Now, why would that be, Ryan Clark? Allow me to retort. 1985, we know who the quarterback was, right? It was Jim McMahon. After him, Mike Tomczak. Then Jim McMahon comes back. After him, Jim Harbaugh. After him, Steve Walsh. After him, Eric Kramer, Dave Craig, Eric Kramer again, Shane Matthews, Cade McNown, Jim Miller, Cordell Stewart for a little bit, Chris Chandler for a little bit, Rex Grossman, remember him? Kyle Orton, remember him? Jay Cutler.
Rexman went to the Super Bowl.
Matt Barkley, all right? Then Mitchell Trubisky. Ryan Clark. That would happen to be the reason why it's Justin Fields, ... in the Chicago Tribune or the Chicago Sun-Times or anywhere else because they haven't had a quarterback. That's why. So, oh my God, they're
that's
looking
why
at
he's under more pressure than Stephen A.
We got to
You're making my point.
What do you mean I'm making your point?
Okay, so you're making my point now. You're making my point now because now you are saying that the pressure is on Justin Fields.
No.
And that's okay. That means I won.
I was showing your point about the newspapers. That's why they elevated him like that because they're starving for something. I mean, listen, Ryan Clark, a cracker don't mean a damn thing to us, right? But damn it, if we starving and you get a piece of cracker, that's a good cracker.
Stephen A., you go to the living room, Ryan, you go to the bedroom. Everyone needs a little space. Let's just take some time apart, marinate, and then we can have a nice dinner together later.
Is that what we're doing?
Okay? Sometimes we have to do that.
But even to that point, because RC, you make a solid point. Stephen A. almost backed up your point, which backed up my point. But the whole point is the media, the people, the fans, the team, the coaches put pressure on this quarterback, on one quarterback, on Justin Fields. And so when he doesn't go out and shine like you think he should, all of a sudden people say stuff like, man, he didn't look great. That's zero pressure. Maybe you make a different decision. And yes, of course, I saw the 3rd and 9 when he used his legs and escaped the sack and got a first down and slid right past the first down. That's what you expect. But you expect that every time because he is the future. You heard the list of names, the litany of names that people in Chicago.
Nobody does that every
time. People in Chicago, bro, people in Chicago, like they get sad. Like in my heart and soul, I live in Chicago. I was getting sad and frustrated as I heard the names of those quarterbacks that Stephen A. I'm so serious. You think I'm playing? Like Chicago is different. As I heard them, I'm like, dang, ooh. And then there's Justin Fields. And then he got his opportunity. And yes, he threw an interception. It wasn't great. Yes, okay, zero pressure, cool. But then you see a little bit of 3rd and 9. You see the escapability. You see what he did in the preseason. You see what he did at Ohio State. You say, man, I know there's something. When, Justin Fields, will you give me that something? And that, my friend, is called pressure.
I didn't say he wasn't under pressure. I think he's under a lot of pressure. I'm not really sure why it's been directed at me.
Okay, this is over. This conversation's over. All right, Herbert Mahomes,
Nutritious.
Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. My goodness, the stars will be out in full force. Did he say nutritious? Did he?
I think he might say nutritious.
Is he trolling Dan? All right, we're talking about the Chargers and Chiefs. Don't go anywhere.
I was listening to the music. My bad. I was
There's
vibing.
only one RC here.
I got y'all. I didn't hear it, man. The music was vibing. It's the Green Bay Packers, Stephen A. And the reason that is to me is they come into this year with more pressure. Aaron Rodgers comes into this year with more pressure. You know what type of offseason that they have. And now you come in, you give Aaron Rodgers a contract that may give him an out next year. You play terrible against the New Orleans Saints week 1. And quite honestly, you don't even play well against the Detroit Lions starting out on Monday night. You have a second half where Jared Goff becomes Jared Goff and Aaron Rodgers becomes Aaron Rodgers, and you win the game. But think about some of the latest trips to San Francisco that the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers have taken. They've been stumped out. This defense has stymied Aaron Rodgers. And also, defensively, the Green Bay Packers don't have Zadarius Smith. They don't stop the run well, and they're still looking for a premier starting corner opposite Jair Alexander. I think that this game is totally putting the pressure on the Green Bay Packers. The San Francisco 49ers are already 2-0. The San Francisco 49ers know they'll be moving to their young quarterback, Trey Lance, at some point. But for the Green Bay Packers, this is the year, this is the chance, and a loss to the San Francisco 49ers after really not proving anything through the first 2 weeks would really put a damper on this locker room and make us start to question Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
You're wrong. And here's why I think you're wrong, Ryan Clark, because you're not taking into consideration the division that the Green Bay Packers are playing in. The fact of the matter is, win, lose, or draw, they're in the NFC North. I mean, who do they have to worry about exactly? Do they have to worry about Detroit, Minnesota, Mr. Kirk Cousins that'll get his numbers but never wins when it matters? You got to worry about the Chicago Bears. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be just fine. When we look at the San Francisco 49ers, yeah, you 2-0, but you were up 41-17 and had to skate by the skin of your teeth against Detroit, who came back and pulled it to within 41-33 before the clock ran out. You go against Philadelphia last week, a young quarterback in Jalen Hurts who still has some things to prove, and you were able to neutralize them offensively and hold them to 11 points, okay? So if you're the San Francisco 49ers, there's still some things to prove, whether Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be in there or it's going to be Trey Lance eventually. The reality of the situation is you're in the NFC West. We look at the Los Angeles Rams. They're a Super Bowl contender. Big game coming up against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We look at the Seattle Seahawks. We see Russell Wilson with Metcalf and Lockett and the crew. And we know that they're going to have something to say about things. We're looking at the Arizona Cardinals. We said they on the come up. Kyler Murray's that dude. They got D-Hop, all right? They got AJ Green, I'm sorry. All right, you see what they got on the defensive side of the ball as well, with Chandler Jones wreaking havoc against everybody. And everybody's finally saying Arizona's a team to be reckoned with. If you are the San Francisco 49ers, every game matters to you because that entire division is up for grabs, whereas Green Bay is playing with house money because they're in the NFC North. You're wrong, RC. You're wrong.
Yeah, and I'm going to double down on that, RC, because here's the thing. Like, the division is the only thing that matters. Who needs this win more? Absolutely, San Francisco needs it more because Arizona very well might be the best team in that division. At least they're playing like it. Kyler Murray is playing like a video game on the defense. Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt, Zaven Collins, they're all playing at a dominant defensive level. And so when I think about the division, I say, okay, Seattle, they're 1-1, but they could be 2-0. You know what Russell Wilson is. So there's one. LA Rams, which we haven't talked about, like they might be, like all these teams could be the best team in the division. That's the issue. So if you start losing games early, especially to a team like the Packers, which historically you have beaten over and over and over again, at least the Aaron Rodgers-led Packers, you have beaten over and over and over again, and then you go and lose this game at this time, all of a sudden, I'm going to start asking some questions. Okay, I already had questions with Green Bay, but now I'm saying, okay, who is San Francisco? I thought they were strong. I thought they were the best in the division. But, man, L.A., man, Arizona, man, Seattle, San Fran, I need you to step up. And so for me, when it matters who needs this win right now the most, it has to be the San Francisco 49ers.
Sam Acho.
Yes, sir.
You thought coming into 2021, the San Francisco 49ers were the best team in the NFC West?
Arguably.
Is that what you thought?
No, but check me out. Last year,
No.
you sleep, RC, because last year, all the guys on their team that were injured in 2020. But back in 2019, where were they in 2019? In the Super Bowl, bro. So now everybody's back healthy. Now you got Trey Lance as another weapon. So, of course, they are the team to beat. How couldn't they be the team to beat? LA Rams, there are question marks. Okay, Matthew Stafford experiment. What will happen? Yes, sir, go ahead.
I got to ride with RC there. I don't agree with you there.
There's an argument that could be made that they could be the best team in that division. Go ahead. Please.
There's no argument that could be made like that, and years don't roll over like cell phone minutes used to. This team is not the best in the division, and last I checked, Stephen A. and Sam Acho, life was about winning the Super Bowl. We We know the San Francisco 49ers ain't got no chance to win no Super Bowl. And it don't matter if you could just win the NFC North if you're Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, what have we always talked about with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers during his tenure? They only have one Super Bowl. There is much more pressure. It is much more of a must-win game for the Green Bay Packers than it is for the San Francisco 49ers. We know that they're going to be sitting at home with us watching the Super Bowl.
Here's why you're wrong real quick. The Packers could lose the next 2 games, be 1-3, and still win their division by 2 games.
Bingo.
That can't happen in the NFC West, and you know it. Let's move on, Molly.
They ain't going to win it no way.
Okay. Packers going to win the division.
Okay. After the Chiefs fumbled away a win in Baltimore last weekend and the Chargers lost a heartbreaker to the Cowboys, the longtime rivals find themselves in the most unexpected of circumstances this week. The loser of their matchup will find itself at 1-2 and in the division cellar. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have not lost back-to-back games since October of 2019. RC, can the Chargers pull off the upset? Chiefs are favored by 6.5.
Yeah, the Chargers can, for sure. The Chargers are a team that is ascending, right? The Chargers have a quarterback who we believe, or let me say, at least I believe, will be in the elite tier of quarterbacks, if not now, then very soon, maybe by the end of the season. And so obviously this is going to be the team that the Kansas City Chiefs has to face going forward. What they have also defensively is they have a star. The guy that we start talking about amongst the best players in football, not just amongst the best positional players, but just because they can, don't mean that they will. When you look at what this team has been historically, they find ways to lose games. And we thought they had gotten over that versus the Washington football team, but you come back against Dallas and you find a way to lose again. So now playing Kansas City, coming off of a loss, I feel that Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and that team understands that this is a huge game for them, and they'll play this like the Super Bowl, which we know they understand.
Chargers ain't got no chance to win this game. They ain't losing because Kansas City ain't losing 2 straight. Ain't happening. Ain't happening. You can cancel that dream.
You think it's going to be a romp?
It ain't going down. No, I'm not going to say it's going to be a romp. I'm not
You
going to go
like
that far.
word. Your tie just reminded me of
I'm just telling you right now, ain't no way they going to Kansas City after a Kansas City loss to the Baltimore Ravens, and they going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and those boys, okay? Let's throw Prince and McCole Hardman in there, too. You do that if you want to. Let's throw Clyde Edwards-Helaire there. LSU do last time. I do believe he's upset because he fumbled the ball. Your man fumbled the ball with 1.5 minutes left. I think he's got some
Finish your story.
He's got some stuff to make up for. All right? Now, I understand that their defense is a little bit suspect, even though Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, being back there, elevates it to some degree. But you in Kansas City? You on the road again. You're accustomed to being in Southern California. You at SoFi, beautiful arena, by the way. I can't wait to go see it in person. You understand what I'm saying? Beautiful stuff like that. Southern California, sunshine, warm weather, all of that. Now you got to go to Kansas City.
Get that barbecue.
Fresh off a loss that they suffered last week to Lamar Jackson and those boys. Please, ain't no chance in hell. Chargers going down.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. The Chargers can pull off an upset, but they won't. They won't this time, but the reason is different. It takes time. RC, you make a great point. The LA Chargers historically have found ways to lose games.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden they have a coach in Brandon Staley who knows how to win. Once again, he knows how to take people who are okay and make them great. Go to the LA Rams last year, defensive coordinator. They were okay. They were about 12 or so, and they went to number 1. Go back to his time in Chicago. Once again, okay defense in 2018. He was outside linebacker coach, coached me. All of a sudden, number 1 defense. And so that's who Brandon Staley is. He knows how to change culture, but it doesn't happen overnight. We saw it last week, a game that the LA Chargers should have won. They didn't. This week, I think they will get their first test of what it looks like to try and win this division. I don't think they will do it this week, but best believe, come back next time around, when this LA Chargers team goes and plays Kansas City, I think they will pull off the upset then because they will understand what it means and what it takes to go and change culture and be a championship-level team.
Okay.
Well, they can change all the culture they want. They're going to lose this weekend.
All right. Stephen A., this one's for you, and I don't even need the lead. Here's what I need you to know.
Yeah.
So Eli Manning's jersey is going to be retired.
Yes.
The Giants are going to get the first win of the year against the Falcons.
Go ahead.
And I just want to read some stats to you, okay?
Yeah.
Eli Manning, one of 12 starting quarterbacks to win multiple Super Bowl titles, one of 6 starting quarterbacks to win multiple Super Bowls without a loss, one of 5 players to win multiple Super Bowl MVPs. His streak of 210 consecutive starts is the 3rd longest streak ever by a quarterback, and he ranks top 10 in NFL history in pass yards, pass TDs, completions, and attempts. So obviously, he is a surefire Hall of Famer.
No, he's not. I
Here,
love
you
Eli.
can hold on to this list.
Thank you. I love Eli.
Guess you wanna
I'm
revisit
very,
that.
very happy that he's getting his jersey retired. Nothing but respect for him. He's a Manning who's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, so he'll probably get in. But if you're asking me based on his resume, I'm looking at a guy that completed 60% of his passes for his career, that has a 117 and 117 record overall, that missed the playoffs numerous times, 6 times at the very least. He had a losing record. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I love Eli Manning, class personified, and he warrants consideration. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, and I think that he'll probably get in. But when I look at Eli Manning, based on his resume, I don't see a Hall of Famer.
Oh, he also knocked off the Patriots in those Super Bowls, just in case you didn't know.
I understand. I don't see a Super Bowl. I don't see a Hall of Famer.
All right.
No.
RC, where are you on this?
You know, I usually disagree with Stephen A., but right now he is dead on. He is as right as he has ever been. I believe Eli Manning will be a Hall of Famer. I believe he will get the votes. I believe at some point he will get to have that gold jacket, and God bless him. I don't look at Eli Manning as a surefire Hall of Famer. I don't think you walk into a room of football players who played against Eli and go, is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer? And you have a consensus. Now, I'm not a Hall of Famer, so I know people are going to be like, oh, you're just hating and all that. To me, Eli's resume, Eli's actual play, who Eli was as a quarterback is not a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's a player that had 2 Hall of Fame Super Bowl runs, and that's that.
Yeah, but the question is he a Hall of Famer? Will he be in the Hall of Fame? And the answer, like both of you all said, and I will agree, is yes. He will be in the Hall of Fame. Part of that is honestly because of that last name. That Manning last name plays a piece. And also the 2 Super Bowl rings have to play a piece as well, more than his brother, who's definitely a Hall of Famer. And so statistically, you might argue you may or may not be, but it comes to that last name, it comes to those rings on those fingers, Eli has proven that he will be in the Hall of Fame.
By the way, in the years that Eli Manning was a quarterback,
You're all
Molly,
annoying me right
in the
now.
years that Eli Manning was a quarterback, they missed the playoffs 9 times. In the last year, when he only coached 4 games, when he only played 4 games, they missed the playoffs that year too. So that's 10 times.
Why don't you look at the list?
That's 10 times in his career.
Stop using the
he's
numbers
missed the
against
playoffs.
him.
I'm not saying his jersey don't deserve to be retired. I'm not saying he doesn't warrant consideration. But
I was having fun on the show. Like, I actually had emailed the producers, like, good show,
I love
Friday.
Eli.